He was a mentor and my boss, but today I want to talk about Horst as a lineman in winter. For Horst, winter began in 2005 when a spinal condition left him paralyzed from the chest down. Last year, in one of our frequent Skype conversations, he recalled the day in 2005 in Hanoi when a cruel fate intervened. Horst said to me, "It was my last day on legs." We talked frequently after we returned to Germany for treatment. For Horst and Ursula, it was a new life and not an easy one. As all his friends know, Horst did not succumb to despair. Over the course of his paraplegia, he made the best of his condition, learning to live with it and live well, reading endlessly, reading his world on the internet and by telephone from his study in Munich. And with the help of a minder, he traveled in Europe and to the United States. During one of our calls, he talked of meeting an old friend, a magazine photographer, whose serious health issues made it difficult for him to keep up with Horst's motorized wheelchair. Horst had this to say: "Getting old is not for weak people." Our talks ran the gamut, from Oktoberfest carousing in the street below his art-laden apartment to the news of the world where turmoil never took a break. But often, our talks turned to photography, the work, the many memorable and often eccentric shooters he had known, the changes in photojournalism over the span of decades since Vietnam. He recalled with fondness and admiration the work of French photographer of AP, Michel Lipschitz, a master of his profession, a grand reporter who sometimes, rather irritatingly, Horst added, would not let an Olympic assignment stand in the way of a fine meal. Tension between them, there was some of that, Horst said, ended the day of Lip's retirement party. Horst recounted how he found Lip's Vietnam flak jacket and helmet and presented them as a surprise gift. Horst told me, "I had never seen him in tears, but he was in tears, he was so moved, and I had a friend for life." He also talked to Boris Yurchenko, AP's longtime Russian photographer in Moscow, hard-smoking and hard-drinking Yurchenko, who knew where all the bodies were, literally. Said Horst, "When a big shot died, we could have a picture of the pale nose of Brezhnev sticking out of the coffin." The picture was always from Boris. He reminisced about the landmark Requiem book project, which he conceived with photographer Tim Page, and he spoke with enthusiasm of the support given the project by Harry Evans of Random House. But most of all, he spoke of the brave photographers, some of whom were lost to the hazards of war in Vietnam. To name just two, there were Henri Huet and Nguyen Thanh My, older brother of Nick Huet. He was wounded in action and ultimately killed when enemy forces overran the position as he waited for medical evacuation. During one call, we examined in detail a panoramic photo I had made of the old Saigon AP photo department, its walls a memory palace of old photographs and newspaper clippings. He said one picture was missing, apparently taken down. It was an image of the wounded Nguyen Thanh My. That was the picture I showed to Dang Van Phuc when he wanted to become a photographer. Horst said, "This is your predecessor and see what happened to him." He got wounded and then he got killed. Horst said Phuc, who later produced many interesting images of the war, but lost an eye doing it, was not deterred. Nguyen Thanh My and his brother Nick Huet, Dang Van Phuc, Lu Sai, the darkroom guy, Mr. Hung, the radio photo technician, Juan, the messenger, Horst said they were the real heroes of Associated Press. In ways, war photography changed, in other ways it never did. As the years rolled on and Horst viewed the photojournalism of war from his wheelchair, the frequent death of photographers and writers left him with a painful sense of deja vu. Only the locus of mortality had moved to the Middle East. He was especially moved by the death of Marie Colvin in Syria. He said, "That is really high-risk country. I don't know if I would have gone there. No, I don't think so. But if Marie Colvin went, I would have gone along. I would have trusted her good judgment." And the aftermath. He said there are always emotional and moving funerals, and the photographers always make somber faces only to go out to the next war. What happens to the families? What happens to the injured photographer who may have lost a leg? It was a somber reflection, but he was cheered when he met a young Catalan who had lost a leg covering the war Horst marveled, "He has really overcome it. He jumps about." I said, "Are you the guy who lost his leg?" And he said, "Want to see it?" He showed me his artificial leg, which was just a piece of wire. He can walk around like another normal person. Horst mentored many, and each in his own or her own way remembers. As a young and very inexperienced photographer in the Vietnam War, I learned simply by watching him work, the assured decision-making, the willingness to invest time in film and photographers who might or might not return with the images that told the story. To the last, Horst fought his battles against declining health. He was at one point in a coma for a month. He said later, "When I came to, Ursula assured me I would be all right. It was good to have somebody look in your face and say, 'You're getting better.'" In journalism, words have a short half-life, but the best of images outlive us all. Images of the human condition have staying power. They are the images that bury words. Horst made countless such images, and as editor and friend, he inspired a generation of photographers to strive to do the same. Rest in peace, Horst. We all miss you.